What to do in a dangerous or embarrassing situation. Torture. You're going to be tortured. And I know most of you are probably saying, when would I ever get tortured? But you won't. Okay, the truth is, it's unlikely to ever happen to any of you. But what is going to happen to you in your lifetime is, not may, is you're going to encounter a situation that you describe as torturous. Okay, and these techniques will help you get through them because your brain doesn't know that the hour you have to sit in a car that's in -5 degree temperature waiting for a tow truck to get there, your brain doesn't know that's not torture. Your brain doesn't know that that really cool tattoo that you asked to get, that turned out you asked to get it in one of the most painful places to get a tattoo. Brain doesn't know you're not being tortured. The dentist, when he's got to get really far back in there and really mess with you and hurt you a lot, your brain doesn't know it's not torture. So to deal with those situations, the exact same techniques work to get your brain through that as they do for honest to God torture. So you might as well learn to deal with torture, and then the regular life events are much easier to deal with. So let's talk about it. Okay, first of all, develop a mantra. Okay, that's a now thing. You can do it. Mine is Tiny Tina is terribly tiny. This is not for meditation purposes. For meditation purposes, you want a nice round mantra. Om or Amen. Did you know Amen is a mantra? It is. It's just Amen. It's a mantra. But those are for meditation. But for this, you want sharp sounds. Sharp. The first time I ever heard of this technique was I read an article about a guy who was having having a piece of a magnet embedded into the nerves of his finger, which would allow him to feel electromagnetic signals around him. You can read about it. Look it up. I'm sure you'll find it. But he said, Listerine is minty fresh. Sharp sounds. Listerine is minty fresh. And honestly, those will help you get through a lot of situations. You just kind of, you can basically turn your brain inward and focus on the mantra instead of letting your brain explore the outside pain that you're going through. It's a great technique, but you do have to practice it. So you do it, and whenever you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you use your mantra to get through it, and your mantra will get better and better at helping you get through situations like that throughout your life. Okay, next thing is small wins. Okay, while you're being tortured, you have to accomplish things. Okay, and when you accomplish something, your brain sends out some endorphins. And those endorphins help you resist the torture because they're going, hey, this feels good. And the torture is going, this feels bad. And they fight. So the small wins are like if somebody were torturing you, you go, okay, I'm going to count to 50 before I cave and tell them any information. I'm going to not say anything until I get to 50. 1, 2, and then you count to 50. And when you get there, you can think, yes, I won. Let's do it again, but try for 100 or something like that. Okay. But you do it through life. When you're waiting for a bus and you're like, this bus is taking forever. I bet it'll get here before I can count to 100. I bet it'll get here before I can count to 500, whatever. You do that. And then you count. That's a technique I use all the time in life for dealing with inconveniences. And if I were ever tortured, I've never been tortured, I would use that technique. Okay, this is an actual torture technique. It doesn't really apply to anything else, but just to let you know, when you're being tortured, you want to give out information very slowly. Okay, you never give all the information at once. You give ideally what you're going to do is give them something that is 90% useless true information, 10% useful bad information like false, and then they have to go and research and figure out what's true and what's false and did you tell them the right thing. And that might buy you time where you're not getting tortured, which allows you to build mental resilience. Okay, that I can't apply it to anything else but torture, but that's a thing. Okay, disassociation. Okay, now true disassociation is a very rare thing. Not many people can do it, but you can teach yourself to do it to an extent. If you've ever heard of a mind palace, it's a good idea. Basically, you imagine, it doesn't have to be that. You imagine a place. That's your mind palace. And you put as much detail as you can into it. And while you're going through the torturous situation or actually being tortured, you're going to imagine your mind palace and you're going to take a tour of it. You're going to look at it, and it allows you to distract yourself. You can also just list every name you can imagine. If you've ever seen the movie Flash Gordon, Zarkov, he's being, they're trying to empty his brain out, and he talks about how he resisted them once he just listed everything he could think of, including every Beatles song he could think of, things like that. That is an anti-torture technique right there in Flash Gordon, and you can use that for everyday occurrences. Just learn what you're going to do. Do it now. Like, so if it's a really boring lecture that your friend asked you to go to and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore, but you can't leave because your friend is there. So instead, you're going to sit there and you're going to go, I'm going to smile. I'm going to look like I'm paying complete attention. That's a great skill to pick up, by the way, learning that you're learning how to look like you're paying attention. Yeah, sorry, Marge, my trainer at Paychex, who always said I was so attentive. I never paid attention to anything you said. Sorry. It's okay. I was very good at my job, but I just didn't like paying attention. So those are those techniques. I'm missing a technique. Hang on. There we go. Sorry, I got my notes out of order. Rhythmic breathing is a great technique for doing it. It lowers your heart rate. It keeps you from getting into a panic spiral, which, you know, like the guy's coming at you. Imagine you're being tortured and the guy's coming at you with the knife. The fear of the knife alone can send you into a panic, but like literally have a panic attack, and then there's not much you can do. So what are you going to do? Guy's coming at you with the knife. Intentionally breathe in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Controlling your breathing, consciously controlling your breathing. And I know every one of you now has to consciously think about breathing for the next minute because I talked about breathing, and I'm sorry. But yeah, so, but that will help you, partly because it's part of the disassociation thing. It lets you, now you're focused on your breathing instead of on the pain, and breathing, just good breathing helps you deal with pain. Anytime you're hurt, focus on your breathing and you will navigate the painful situation much better. That's just injuries and stuff too. This one I read somewhere and I thought that's such a good one. It's the power of the secret. Okay. So whatever you're doing that you're being tortured for, you must have a secret. Because if you didn't have a secret, why are you being tortured? And you know, in some cases, obviously, so the secret, though, is why are you doing this, okay? And you have to hold that close, okay? Let's say it's a tattoo, all right? Well, you chose to get that tattoo, and you think this tattoo is going to be pretty badass. And if the tattoo artist, if you came in and you were like, I don't know, maybe I'll get a tattoo right here. A friend of mine has like a really cool Illuminati symbol right here, and he said it was so painful. This is apparently an incredibly painful place to get a tattoo. I mean, just touching it kind of bothers me. And he used some of these techniques when he was doing it. But what was I talking about? I forgot my whole point. All right, let's move on. Oh, the secret, right. So you have to picture, why did you want this tattoo? What's going to be great about it? Imagine the reality of that. If you're actually being tortured, you've got to hang on to, let's say they're like, you got to tell me where your kid is or something, or your best friend. Tell me where your best friend is, or I'm going to cut you. Well, you don't want to tell where your best friend is because you know they'll get hurt. So you have to imagine all the love you have for your best friend right there. You've got to picture your best friend. You've got to picture your best friend not getting hurt. You've got to know the reason you're holding out is so that your best friend doesn't get hurt. And you know you're eventually going to cave, but every minute that you don't do that, that's a minute that your friend has to get away and find a safe place to be. Those kind of things. That's how you hold on to the reality of you not breaking. If it's a torturous situation, if it's a lecture or whatever, then you just hold on to, I'm here for my friend. I'm not here for me. So, like, if that were the situation, you know, that's why you're going to hold on. You've got to hold on to whatever the reality is that you're going through this torture to preserve, and keep it very sharp in your mind. And that's a very strong technique if you can hold on to it tightly. The other thing is, of course, just keep in mind, if you can go, the counting thing again, whatever, make a decision. I'm not going to give up until, like, I'm not going to give up until I can count to 100. I'm not going to give up unless they're not torturing me. Like, I will only cave during a non-torture period, so that during torture you don't allow yourself to cave. Things like that. That can really make a huge difference.